I got Doherty in on one.
All right, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah, I don't. Sorry, I only brought 3.
If anything, Ricky's going to be making Manhattans for all of us. That's the key there.
Oh, that would be sweet. We could have a drinks with Ricky segment.
Oh,
of the podcast.
it'd be great. Craft cocktails with Ricky.
Drinks with Ricky. Deal.
drinks with Ricky.
Is anybody excited for Gennady Golovkin this weekend? I am.
Who?
I don't even know what that is.
Triple G?
Rick Ross.
I was going to say Rick Ross.
Dan, what do you do in your free time?
I love Rick Ross.
Chasing around a 2-year-old.
He watches Frozen.
I do.
A lot.
I do.
Wow.
It's a weekly experience in my house for sure.
When you send your son to your parents' house, then what do you do?
I play ice hockey on a recreational team.
Okay, keep going. Let's flesh this out.
We don't need to go. We don't need to go much further into this. I don't think.
Why was this conversation taking place at like a club?
Yeah.
Evan's drunk.
Oh wow! All right.
Dan, when's the last time you were in the club?
Oh Jesus!
What year?
Getting tipsy.
Was it in the 90s?
Man, the last time I was in a club, long time. Let's leave it there. Anybody else having Wi-Fi issues now?
I'm fine. I got
The
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi here is just kind of slow. Yeah.
Man, you're just having all kinds of issues.
Yiffy. Who's got Yiffy?
Yippee!
Yiffy and a Jiffy.
Dan, I have one question before I unfriend you.
What's that?
Do you know the reference Cash Money taking over the 99 in 2000? We're not friends anymore.
Man.
How do you not know that?
I don't know, man. You're throwing this at me out of nowhere. I have no idea. Help me out.
Oh, boy.
JP, that's why we have you on the show. As I've
Again,
stated before.
street cred.
Street cred.
That might be the single greatest song of like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Literally. Act that ass up. They play that at weddings in all cultures.
Well, I'm sure I heard the song, but you can't drop a lyric out of it and expect me to know that.
That wasn't even a lyric. That was like
the intro.
Yeah.
All right.
That was the prelude.
Girl, what you playing with?
You got digging.
I know. Just slamming me. All right, let's go ahead and
pretend there's
shall we?
music.
Let's do it.
All right, and welcome into the Bullpen, episode 2. Yay! We made it. Brandon, Evan, JP, back in the bullpen again this week. Hydration check. Let's see what everybody's drinking this evening. Brandon, tell us about it.
This is a fine tasting brew called Not Your Father's Root Beer.
Shout out to Officially Ice.
Yeah, this is 5.9% alcohol by volume. Mm-hmm. And it actually legit just tastes like root beer.
It does.
It's fantastic.
I've never had it before. Very, very tasty.
Shout out to La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That's where it's
Wisconsin, just, only cheese and beer. That's about all I like out of that state.
Perfect. Well, if you haven't tried it, give it a shot. Brandon brought this one in. Not Your Father's Root Beer. Very, very tasty. All right, let's jump into the top stories. USC fires Steve Sarkisian. JP, so sorry, after a 17-12 loss to Washington. Sort of strange how this
I don't
thing...
think that's why he got fired.
Well, but it's sort of strange how this thing went down, right? So Sunday, we were talking about it, JP and I were talking about it, and they say, oh, we're going to have him on a temporary leave of absence. And you said it right then. You said he's gone.
I broke the news on Twitter that he was going into rehab, and everyone laughed at me. And then he self-admitted himself into rehab. And then Pat Hayden, in pure Pat Hayden fashion, fired him through email. So we had Lane Kiffin get fired on the tarmac. And Sark gets fired via email. Like, I don't think Pat Hayden likes that face-to-face interaction.
Well, the thing when it escalated, it seemed like was that LA Times story that basically broke down his stay at UW when he coached there, and the fact that it hoarded like 800 portfolios and expense reports and receipts.
I'm looking at the receipts right now.
That apparently he literally has a receipt up here right now.
Yeah, this is like it was one of the hotel at the hotel bar, and it's the date is June 5th, 10, and it's 10:16 a.m.
35
That's
Heinekens,
35
Coors Lights, 12 Grey Goose, 7 Bud Lights, 7 Baja Chickens, tasty.
Yeah.
2 ranchers, a classic, a salmon BLT, a driver, 6 Coronas, and 2 7-Ups.
Don't forget the 7-Ups. You got to have the
Settle the
chaser.
stomach at the end there.
You got to have the mixers.
It's a serious situation for him because obviously he's dealt with this for a while. But
A long while.
why does it take an LA Times report breaking down UW for Pat Hayden to go, oh, man, yeah, this was really bad. But then he also said, well, Sark was never disciplined at Washington, so I couldn't have really acted like I knew what was going on, when it was pretty well known in the Northwest what was up.
What's the background check like at
Yeah.
SC? I mean, he was employed there beforehand.
That's correct.
And then you bring this guy back. So how did it just happen when he was at Washington? This can't be just a thing that happened while he was there.
He had a good Pete Carroll recommendation.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They keep staying in the Pete Carroll family now.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying basically they're going to have to go outside if they want to get the next coach.
And the only person in the Pete Carroll family that's been successful is Pete Carroll.
Pretty much.
So maybe, after the Lane Kiffin thing, in this, maybe you should go a different route. But that, who do they get?
Some of the names thrown out the other day were, of course, the rivals. You got Jim Mora across town at UCLA. They would hate that. And then you've got Brian Kelly at Notre Dame was another name I heard thrown out
Hate
there.
that even more.
Yeah. Who do you want to see, JP?
Let me get Nick Saban. Let's throw the bank at the Alabama coach and bring him on over.
$10 million a year? Is that what they're going to have? That's
do
probably
it.
what it would take.
If Texas makes the mistake of letting Charles Strong go, I'll take him.
Do you think Chip Kelly leaves, comes back to college?
I don't think Chip Kelly leaves for that job.
Because USC won't give Chip Kelly enough power. Chip Kelly's on a major power trip wherever he goes, and Pat Hayden's not going to give him the reins to that program the way Chip Kelly wants it.
Yeah.
I'll take Charlie Strong. I'll take a Saban.
I saw one name that was very interesting was Kyle Whittingham from Utah. A disciplinarian. He's got those guys. I mean, he does so much with very little talent there at Utah. Just imagine what he could do with
you give
talent.
him a pool now.
You give him a pool of kids from that area, that could be kind of scary.
I mean, that's the thing outside of Sark being a drunk is that how come he didn't win? All that talent. He's got NFL guys every single year, whether they're winning, whether they're losing, whether they're sanctioned, whether they have full scholarships. They still got the best players in California. You should be winning. And he didn't win.
Well, if Pat Hayden's the one making the decision, he'd better take his time.
Well, in your words, JP, he was drunk.
Yeah, man.
drunk.
He's probably playing that T-Pain track right now.
Oh, man. All right. Another big story in college football this week. Florida quarterback Will Grier, a year suspension for PEDs. Everyone want to fill us in on this one?
Yeah, and of course, it's the same thing we hear a lot of times with these things. I took a nutritional supplement that had something in it that I didn't know was in it. There was a young reporter at Florida who I saw on Twitter. I can't recall her name right now or have it in front of me. Amanda Wood, there you go, who had pointed out, she had pointed out actually seeing Grier at the GNC, I think it was, buying this supplement, and it actually says clearly on the side of the label, if you are going to be tested, do not take this.
Complete Nutrition is the name of the company and the store.
Well, you're a better nutritionist than any of us combined here, JP. I mean, how do you miss that?
I'm pretty sure that he knew. He had to know. Because in the story, Ms. Wood said that her boyfriend, who's a Division II baseball player, was going to get the same exact supplements. It's a stack. A stack being 3 different supplements together gives you a stack, like literally a stack of canisters. And the gentleman, we'll say the representative cashier, couldn't prove that the subs weren't on the ban list, so she didn't get it. But he said that Grier had caught before, so I guess that was the selling point on said supplement.
And people had pointed out that in his true freshman year, he was like 165, 170 pounds, and he put on basically 40 pounds in a year.
Yeah, well, it says he put on 30 pounds in 18 months. It's a year and a half. I mean, as a college kid, that's not that much if you eat hamburgers, tons
Freshman
of meat 3 times a
15.
day.
I did that.
He did, yeah.
I did that without trying.
And I wasn't on the football team.
Well, I mean, considering what the Gators have done this year, jumped into the top 10 in McElwain's first year, no one really expected that. I mean, it's a huge blow. And now they get to go to LSU this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happens from here? I mean, is this it? Does that end their magical
Who's
run?
their backup?
Treon
I was
Harris.
going to say, is it
Treon
Treon?
Harris, yeah.
The guy who...
Yeah.
Allbad.com.
Yeah, he was rough to watch for Gator fans last year. I'm sure they're trembling, but I don't think you can say that this success is all based on just Will Grier.
Very true.
So they still have. I don't think they beat LSU this week, but I think they at least have a shot at staying around in the top 25, just based on the rest of the talent they have. I mean, JP, they got your boy in
Hargraves Jr.
So I think they'll be okay. But yeah, losing your quarterback definitely hurts.
He was just channeling his inner Steve Latimer from the program.
Yeah.
Trying to get that competitive edge.
Except at quarterback and not defensive end.
Very true.
I think we'll learn a lot from this LSU game, especially with the defense, if they can hold it together.
Well, that'll be if they can shut
defense
down
has been strong
Fournette.
in SEC games, but
Yeah.
Good luck.
All right, JP, NFL doling out a fine this week. You want to fill us in on this one?
Yeah, I'm not a Roger Goodell fan. He fined Cameron Hayward for putting eye black, honoring his father who died from cancer. He fined him all of $5,787. Like, what is the point of this? What comes of this?
So his dad is Craig Hayward, former Saints fullback.
Ironhead Hayward.
Ironhead, and that's what
Was on the eye black.
That's what Cameron wrote. He wrote iron on the left, head on the right, and he put it on. And this is what frustrates me about this is that this is in October, the month that the NFL wants to promote breast cancer awareness.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now you've got a player, and Roger Goodell loves to talk about the good things his players in this league do. And, all that. And you got a guy who's actually trying to do something good, you're not going to let him do it. And it comes also after the fact, one more thing, D'Angelo Williams, his teammate, whose mother died from breast cancer, said he wanted to wear pink all season long in honor of his mother. They won't let him do that either. He's now come out and said he's going to pay for 53 mammograms for women in Pittsburgh and Charlotte. He played in Carolina before, which is great. But still, you're really going to get all in a bunch about wearing a certain color of your socks, of your gloves, of your wristbands? Come on.
I mean, we just got done talking about performance enhancing. This does nothing to enhance these guys' performance. Eye blacks and wearing pink cleats or gloves, it does nothing. Like, let them. I mean, I understand you have this code where you want to keep everything uniform, and you've got sponsors you have to clear everything with, and it's all about the almighty dollar. But it's freaking eye black. Let the guy honor his father, for crying out loud. A man who played in the NFL and was a very popular member of the NFL. Let him do it. Like it just doesn't make any sense. I was reading an article, and they brought up the point of when Pat Tillman passed away, and the exact same thing. Everybody honored Pat Tillman the week after he passed away with a patch, and Jake Plummer, his former teammate at Arizona State, wanted to continue to wear it, and the NFL just kept fining him every week he did it.
Which, again, it brings a question. I think we talk about this all the time with these fines. Where's that money go?
Yeah.
There are never, ever a single receipt of any fine in the NFL. Nobody knows if they even pay it.
Pocket.
Well, we don't even know if these guys are paying the fine. Like, he's just saying that, oh, you owe me X amount of dollars. Like, did this come out of your checking account? Did your owner pay for it? Like, where's the money coming from and where does it go?
Is it like when you draw a chance card in Monopoly and you just have to pay that money to the bank or whatever? Is there like a fake bank with fake Monopoly money in it somewhere?
Somewhere.
William Roden wrote a book about it. He called it $40 million slaves, how you get into the NFL and they pay you X amount of dollars, but you can do nothing and you're at the will of the owners. And now Roger
Well, yeah,
Goodell,
that's unfortunate. That's the way it is right now.
there's zero self-expression. But
they want to take an entire month to show you that they care about breast cancer awareness. But once it hit November 1st, no.
Yeah.
Don't you dare wear anything pink.
Day after Halloween, pink's outlawed.
It's ridiculous.
Well, Hayward makes an average salary of $10 million a year, so I say, Cameron, keep wearing it.
Yeah.
$6,000 a week. Go for it.
I'm sure somebody out there will come to his defense, like one of his teammates that makes a ridiculous amount more, like a Roethlisberger. Like, I'm sure he would gladly pay Cameron's fines if he wanted to. But Cameron, knowing him, he's probably the type of guy that's just going to say, all right, I'll find other ways to honor my father by going out and ripping some guy's head off across the offensive line instead.
Thanks, Raj. Nice move, buddy. Nice move. Chicago Cubs moving on to the NLCS. The Cubs win 2 weeks in a row. Woot woot. Brandon, you have some thoughts on the Cubs advancing to the NLCS?
It's not so much the Cubs advancing. I'm fine with that. It's the fact that this thing in baseball, and I know everybody has issues with unwritten rules, but my issue is the celebration after every advancing. It's the celebration after you make the playoffs. It's a celebration after you win the division. It's a celebration after you win the 1-game wild card playoff. It's this. I mean, you saw the celebration last night, and I get it. It's the first time they've won a playoff series in forever,
Right.
and I understand them going nuts. But the fact that it's not just that moment, it's everybody. It's the fact that both teams celebrated the 1-game playoff as if they won the frickin' World Series. You've done really nothing at this point. You could the Cubs could possibly have 4 celebrations and not win the World Series.
Brad Evans
Like,
will hear this
ultimately,
and
that's the
shudder.
thing. And, like, why would you want to celebrate that much and then you don't actually get the ultimate prize?
But this is the same. I mean, you don't see this in any other sport. NHL, you have to win 4 series to win the Stanley.
They won't
Cup.
even touch
I mean,
a
the
trophy.
NHL,
They
I'm
won't
sorry.
do any kind of
in the NHL,
celebration.
they
It's
won't.
like, nope,
Yeah.
we're moving on. We're moving on to the next series. The NFL, same thing. You got to win 4 games, right? If you're the wild card
but
team.
if you like, at least in the NFL, like if you win the NFC title or the AFC title, you celebrate on the field a little
Sure.
bit with a trophy. But it's not like you're going nuts and crazy in the locker room. Like, the media
It's bizarre.
doesn't have to bring their rain gear to the ballpark that day to worry about getting sprayed with champagne. It just I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me that you haven't really done anything yet. I guess I'm just from the culture that you really have to earn. You should earn that title, and winning the wild card game doesn't do much for me.
So that brings up the question. The Cubs have moved on. How do we think the Cubs are going to do here? Do we have any predictions for the next round?
I think they fare nicely with either team. I don't think either team. I think the Dodgers, have the 2 aces at the top. I think in terms of a full-on staff, I think the Mets have a better staff, just 1-4. I think the Dodgers have the 2 best pitchers in this series. I know there's 1 game left in it, but I think it comes down to, I don't think either one of those lineups is that. I mean, the Mets probably have a better lineup, I think, top to bottom, but I think the Cubs have a great shot, and they have that great home field advantage, and they're on a roll right now.
And Kyle Schwarber.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we joked about this off air that I was thinking Schwarbering would be a great verb. Like when you crush something the way that Schwarber hits that home run on top of the scoreboard in Chicago. When you just crush something, man, I Schwarber that stack of pancakes. You just kill it. I know
We're
you like
Schwarbering
pancakes.
these beers right now.
Oh,
JP.
totally Schwarber.
I feel like I've been Schwarbering since I came out the womb.
It's hard to argue with him on that.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt.
On that home run, is that home run better than the home run that Barry Bonds hit in the World Series that never came down?
Against the Angels?
Correct. Remember Tim Salmon said,
This is the furthest
"Oh,
ball.
expletive." Yeah.
Yeah.
The other guy said, "This is the furthest ball I've ever seen hit."
I don't know. When I think of monster home runs, the one that always stands out to me is Pujols when he was with the Cardinals in Houston.
Okay.
Off
Oh, against
Lidge.
Lidge.
It
Yeah.
went over the railroad track
Correct.
at Enron.
That ended Brad
massive.
Lidge's career.
It was a wrap.
He was like, "Yep, retirement."
I would go Pujols, Bonds, Schwarber. If we're going to just those 3.
Schwarber's got time,
But-
he can move up on that list.
What were you telling me the Cubs did with this ball now?
Well, Evan the ball landed on top of that scoreboard out
Right.
there, and they left. They were going to leave it there, but then what they built like a little plastic case around it. They're almost like treating that thing like if they lose at all, is that their Bartman this year? That ball,
The ball that's sitting above the
Yeah.
scoreboard?
Yeah. In a
glass case?
That would be so Cubs fan to be like,
Yeah.
oh, that stupid baseball spinning atop the scoreboard. Man, that cursed us forever.
It's taunting us.
Yeah.
Another inanimate object that ruined us forever.
First, it was going to be they were just going to leave the ball there, and then today, we tape on Wednesday, they put a little case around it, a little plastic case on top of the scoreboard to protect the ball from the elements that will show up at
Like, what
Wrigley.
happens if, like, let's say the Dodgers win and Adrian Gonzalez goes in there, a lefty, and he bombs one just as high, and he hits the case. Oh my God! Like everyone in Chicago would just run. They would run for that's the sign of the apocalypse right there.
Would be so Dodgers to keep this going after last year when they partied in the pool in Arizona after they won the division
yeah.
would be to all go celebrate the LCS on top of the scoreboard in Chicago, dance around the ball.
That is Dodgers.
That would be very Dodgers.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's rough. Yeah, that's a. I'm not even a Cubs fan, and that hurts.
The Cubs win. the Cubs win. Somebody that didn't win, the U.S. men's national soccer team. Well, it was a brutal game.
Are you surprised?
They will not play in the UEFA Confederations Cup now after losing to Mexico in extra time.
The UEFA, they were never going to play in the UEFA Confederation.
No, I'm sorry, the FIFA Confederations Cup. Forgive me. I wrote UEFA too.
Cue the violins.
But we were talking about this after watching that game. They lose with what? About 90 seconds left in extra time of the extra time.
Yeah.
It was like minute 118.
There was a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you rather lose if you're playing on that team? Would you rather lose like that, where Mexico scores late, heartbreaking, after you tied it, or
because they took the lead early in stoppage time, you came back to tie it,
right,
and then you lost it with like 2 minutes left in stoppage time?
Or would you rather lose in PKs?
You don't want to lose in PKs because then you're putting all the pressure in the world on your goalie.
I don't know. That was rough to watch. You and I were watching that game together in the green room.
It was the pass backward. It was like backwards over his head, if I remember right. To set up that third goal, it was like a high lob with his back to the net, and he kicked it over.
Well, it was a great goal.
It was
because the guy hit it out of the air, like with the side of his foot, and it was a dart. But that was so brutal. Like, there were other like teams of mine that lost that day or that weekend. There was a lot of sports that went on like that made me somber. But I don't know why, that game just hit me harder than anything else that weekend. Just because, like, it was just, you were so invested. And when the U.S. scored to tie it at 2, you and I were just screaming. There's nobody else on campus here. And you and I are just screaming at the top of our lungs, like, that they tied this and we're going to go to PKs. And then
there was nobody playing ping pong or foosball?
No. This was Saturday when nobody's in the office except for us.
Surprising.
I don't think it was any question that Mexico was the better team or skilled team. They were pushing the pace.
Yeah.
But as a U.S. fan, I actually think for me, I'd rather lose in PKs because then you can go, PKs are a coin flip,
right?
You know, but that was pretty devastating.
So does Jurgen keep his job? Because that's the big discussion. Does he take the USC job?
That would be intriguing.
Actually, and
I should take the first USC press conference.
I should preface, I don't know which USC job because South Carolina has an opening too.
That's true. I think he'd fit better at Southern California than South Carolina.
I need you guys to stop this blasphemous talk right now.
Oh, man. Well, it sounds like Jurgen's going to press on for now, at least from what everybody's saying.
That's the only thing he can do. He just has to sit there and anytime somebody asks him that question, if he thinks he's on the hot seat, he's just got to,
bask in mediocrity.
And wait for Evan to imitate him again.
I was just going to say, what did he say today?
It's Obama. Move forward and gets better for Brazil. In Rio.
All right, let's move forward here on the bullpen. Let's jump into the Peep the Rank segment. Every week we check out a ranking of something across sports media and break it down. This week we're looking at Sports Illustrated's Heisman Watch. Leonard Fournette, not a surprise, as their top Heisman candidate. Other guys on the list here, Boykin of TCU, Dalvin Cook, Florida State, CJ Prosise, is that what we said?
That is correct.
Notre Dame, and Seth Russell, Baylor. JP, first to weigh in here. I think you got a dark horse that's not on this list.
I need these pundits. Pat 40, where are you? You have a vote, sir. We've discussed this. Josh Doxson from TCU. The guy has 50 catches on the season, but he's averaging 17.5 yards a catch. He's got 10 touchdowns. No one can guard him. He gets bracketed every game, and he still scores them multiple times. Like, he's money. He's an ultra-athletic Amari Cooper.
And it seems like every time they need a big play, Dotson's the guy making it. In that game against K-State this weekend, he scored the go-ahead, not the go-ahead touchdown, but basically the one that kind of iced
the momentum swing touchdown.
Right, yeah. And JP was the one who kind of pointed this guy out to me. And every time TCU's on now, I'm watching him, and he's not getting enough love either from like the NFL draft pundits. This guy, like, he could be a sneaky. If someone gets him in the late first, like, this guy could be a pretty legit pro at the next level. Like, as a Vikings fan, I really, really would like this guy to continue to wear purple next year.
I mean, he can come to the Redskins too. We just talk so much about Trayvon Boykin and his greatness, which he is. He's an athletic specimen, but he has to get out of trouble somehow.
That touchdown he scored late in that game was ridiculous. He made it look effortless. Like, he just put it into like first gear. Everybody else is like in fourth gear, and he's just.
But when he does have to throw, Dotson is the guy.
maybe I'm distracted enough on Saturdays. I'm looking at this list for the first time. It's broken down into top 5,
Right.
rising contenders, falling contenders. And the one name that's not mentioned at all in this entire thing is Ezekiel Elliott. Why is he not on this list anywhere? He's not even in the article.
Urban doesn't use him enough. He doesn't use him early. He uses him late when and I think that's one of the reasons why Ohio State is always in these games that they shouldn't be close in early on. He doesn't get him the ball enough.
He's the fourth highest running back in the nation.
This is the
He's got
thing.
the fourth most yards.
Right, I know, but he would be leading the nation in rushing if he got, well, maybe not over Fournette, but like he'd be at least second.
Better than Tyler Ervin.
Yes, sorry. your
From
boy.
San Jose State.
And they realize that late they'll get him the ball. He has just as many probably long 70-plus yard runs this year, 60, 70-yard runs as probably Fournette does. Like, I have to look that up, but...
Urban Meyer suffers from Sarkisian syndrome on the field. Like, he doesn't know how to call the right plays.
He's
You
still
should just
trying to
pound
figure
the
out who he
ball.
wants to play quarterback, and he just doesn't realize he's got a horse in the backfield. Just hand him the ball. And if you need to throw, then you throw.
Maybe he's just trying to keep him healthy for the NFL, and that's the thing that we don't know. And that's why
That's very kind of him, but you've got arguably one of the most talented teams in the country. You got people questioning whether or not you're the number one team in the country. Give it to your guy.
yeah, Zeke
He's
deserves at
always-
least 20 touches a game.
He's always doing the little feed me. After he breaks one, he's like, give it to me again, and the coach doesn't give it to him again.
He'd rather throw fade routes with Cardell to receivers who we don't know.
Yeah, no touch.
Sean Kingsbury, I don't even remember his name. See, that's how bad he is.
But yeah, no, that was a great point, Evan.
Thank you.
I can't believe he's not on this list.
Pat on the back.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, that's Peep the Ranks for this week. Let's move on to social. I've got down here a Dallas Braden tweet. Somebody's got to fill me in. I'm not a Twitter guy.
It's the only one I really
not a Twitter guy.
threw down for
Yeah.
the social thing.
Can we pimp dance Twitter so we can get some followers
Jesus.
here?
Dude,
Like
he
the
I
guys
might,
in the
I might
social
break
media
100 this year
Yeah,
after 2 years of activation.
Is he to triple digits yet? Because the guy needs to be at triple digits.
D. Harris Y Sports.
If you're a big fan of the Sharks or
And-
San Jose State
yeah,
football,
I'll live tweet after a couple of
this-
beers. I promise.
This is the guy to follow.
If you live in the 408, he
That's
is a
it.
must follow.
Hey, we got at least 1 million people here.
Yeah.
If I could get 150, I'd be happy. Anyway, Evan, tell me about this one.
Yeah, this was actually just one tweet I pulled out because it's more of a personal rant opportunity. Braden on Monday night after Donaldson hit a homer for Toronto to beat Texas, and that went over Texas. Cespedes hit one of his bombs in New York. It says, man, the tweet said something like, do you imagine a lineup that had Cespedes and Donaldson in it? And as an Oakland A's fan, I just wanted to throw my phone across the room. Because it's like, God, what could have been? I mean, you could say that about Oakland A's teams for the last 20 years, but it's just incredibly frustrating. That's all. I just had to get that off
He's
my
probably
chest.
a little bitter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Braden, of
of
course.
course, right?
Yeah. I
would be too.
He was before either of those guys anyway, but still, he's a 209 guy, Stockton guy, or Modesto, Stockton or Modesto, one of those Valley cities. But, yeah, just rough. And none of you care at all. I see you got nothing to add to this at all.
Yeah, sorry about that, Evan.
That's it. All right. Well, on to another Bay Area team.
Evan's personal rant song.
The
Oh,
Warriors getting ready for their back-to-back title runs now. But
Oh, here we go.
we love this from last week, so we had to bring it back. JP's dating advice.
it was
And-
solid.
Cue the slow jam.
JP, my mom actually thought you were hilarious when you were doing that. She listened to our podcast. She might have been the one, but she enjoyed it. So
Bless your soul, Ms. Velasquez.
So the first athlete we're going to hit on in JP's dating advice is Mr. Clayton Thompson, who was called out by his girlfriend on Twitter, tweeted something to the effect of, when you catch your man naked in bed with a groupie, ... LOL. I didn't even realize she said LOL.
Oh, yeah.
And then tagged at Clay Thompson. Hannah Stocking is the maybe possibly ex now.
Yeah.
I told him I'd at him if he kept harassing me, so I guess he really wanted the tag to get his numbers up. So was this all
is
a
that
publicity
follower numbers
move?
or
Yeah, because my first question was, who is Hannah Stocking?
Who is she? Tell us.
Yes, please.
She is supposedly a model. She might be an Instagram model. I'm not sure if she's published. Hannah, if you're listening, please send over your work so we can correct this later. We can run a contraction. But here, you You look pretty normal. I think you're forgetting the fact that Klayton just won a NBA championship. And
Is his birth name Klayton?
It is now.
Okay.
And Ms. Stocking, I think you should understand that Klayton is peaking, okay? He just won a chip, okay? He's also getting his stats up. So this is just something that this is something that Hannah's just going to have to deal with.
I think this went from dating advice to real talk.
Yeah. All right, another title winner.
Evan's just smoothly moving on.
Yeah.
And JP
don't see
wasn't
why
done.
not.
I don't think JP was done at all.
I wasn't. I need Hannah to keep this offline. I don't understand why people have to be so messy. Don't tweet about it. Handle it between the two of you.
That's the thing. Like that was my thing. Like, who looks worse in this situation?
She does.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
Hannah lost twice. She lost Clay, and then she lost the fans that she did have.
we know a lot. I mean, we've dealt with in our positions. We've dealt with a lot of professional athletes, and we know that there's the stigma put on them that they, do tend to, sleep around a bit when they're on the road and stuff like that. I'm not saying she deserves to be cheated on. No woman deserves that in any way, shape, or form. But she can't be surprised, I guess, if you're going to date a professional athlete, and when you're in this kind of, I guess, the society that we have now, like, I think
Fresh off a chip?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not condoning what he did. If it's true, I'm not accusing the guy either, because we don't know what.
Yeah, we don't know if this is real or
Right?
again,
Yeah,
it's just trying to get more followers.
Yeah, if he's just trying to get his followers up, I don't know.
Clay Thompson, keep shooting your shot.
But I'd be interested to see, and I should have looked this up, how many followers she has based on how many followers he has.
She might have more based on the pictures.
She might have more.
But Clay Thompson's also akin to Dan when it comes to social media. He's not really popping on the internet.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, moving on to another title winner and some love advice. Ronda Rousey came out. News came out this week. She is dating Travis Brown, who is another mixed martial arts fighter, and both of them said, well, we don't want to say she's not my girlfriend, Travis said. She said, he's not my boyfriend. We're not putting labels on it. We're in a relationship.
That's special. That's like the open relationship on Facebook.
Is that what that is?
That's special?
Wait,
How is that special?
I mean, that's Thomas Brown doesn't have to worry about Hannah Stocking posting photos or tweets. He can just get it cracking on the side, and Ronda Rousey really won't trip because they're not official.
Because Ronda's very private, too. Like, she has been adamant from the time she really got big. And my personal life is my personal life. That's why it's called personal. I'm not putting it out there. But this came out, and now they've kind of said, all right, yeah, but that's it.
Ronda Rousey also said that she wanted to have, quote, 57 of Fedor Emelianenko's babies. So I'm not sure if Mr. Brown picked the right woman to mess with.
Well, Brown's already got kids, so I don't know if he wants more.
I don't know. Is this something that it doesn't sound like it was something that's leaked? It's something that they actually admitted to, and they talked to reporters about.
Right.
So my question is, if you're Ronda Rousey, do you do that? I mean, you have all this appeal as being an independent, strong kind of woman type of thing. I'm just wondering, why bring it in if you're so private? Why even bring it up?
And why bring it up
Unless
if it's not
publicity
if they're not a girlfriend or a boyfriend, if they're just, quote, in a relationship, which is special. It's an open relationship. Maybe on Facebook it's complicated.
Very good. That's 2
special.
weeks in a row of Ronda Rousey talk, guys. That's
impressive.
Just acknowledging that.
She's interesting enough. We can talk about her every week.
Whoa. You think Ronda Rousey's interesting?
Yeah.
But that's
Now
what
it's
you
getting
said
good.
last week, was that these fighters aren't interesting enough and they don't have personalities. And we said it's about their fighting. I think she is.
She's very polarizing. I think
She would
that's
have
the word.
personality if she came out fresh and said, hey, I'm with Brown and we're swingers. Now that's interesting. Ronda Rousey claiming to be in an open relationship. Like, all right, that's cool. People get into those every day.
Moving on to another segment. This actually happened. We're going to bring in our guest anchor here to introduce these stories for us. If you remember from last week, we had an appearance from Tom Brokaw, and he's joining us once again. Tom, can you introduce our first story today?
Thank you, Dan.
Even the thank you gets it. It's beautiful.
Just wrap the segment right there.
Yeah,
Let's put-
we're done.
An intoxicated fan found out at Texas A&M Stadium, even though he was thought to be 187 miles away in Arlington.
I can't. So this dude, what was it, on the 8th? I don't know what day of the week that was. This was probably last Thursday or Friday. Thought he was found at Texas A&M Stadium, Kyle Field, in College Station, and police, like they put it up on their Twitter. The Texas A&M police put it up on their Twitter that this guy was intoxicated, and he thought he was at a Baylor Texas Tech game. Now, at AT&T Stadium, which is 187 miles away, it's almost a 3-hour drive. Which now there was a game played. There was a game played at Kyle Field 5 days before that, which was the same day as the Baylor Texas Tech game at AT&T Stadium. So he at least knew the same day. Again, this is 5 days later, but also...
Was this the same buzz?
How drunk do you have to be to either be on a 5-day bender? Maybe he walked all the way from AT&T Stadium
down the highway.
5 days.
But how drunk are you to think that you're in another spot with another like that? That's not just alcohol involved. That's other illegal substances.
Yeah, he was
and lots of them
loaded.
Like, but yeah, maybe that's the theory. He walked from Arlington to Kyle Field and was just like, this seems like a nice place to stop.
But he attended the entire game thinking he was somewhere else. Like that's loaded he was on a different planet.
Yeah, that guy in some way is just he's a hero. Like if he walked that far, like I really want to know. I want to know more, but they haven't really released any more to this story. So, but I just thought that was.
I mean,
whatever the drug is, he should patent it because there's a lot of money behind that one.
Yeah.
All right, next up on This Actually Happened, Tom.
A Toronto man asked to be thrown in jail so he could watch a Blue Jays playoff game on TV.
The game that just ended.
The crazy game that just ended. First of all,
the 53-minute 7th inning.
Best playoff game I've seen probably since that A's Royals game last year.
That was a good game.
So
the one where they biffed it.
So a year
Sorry,
ago.
I didn't bring it
That's
up.
the best playoff game he's seen since last playoffs.
Yes.
I just want to see the beer sales of just the seventh inning. Just the 7th inning. All
Because
the alcohol sold in the
I'm
7th.
pretty sure beer doesn't get cut off until at the end of the 7th.
All the Molsons, Labatt's you could ask for.
Because the majority of it was thrown onto the field.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dan pointed that out. They threw it onto the field because they knew they could go get another one. They had plenty of time at that point.
Still beer sales.
But that was a really nuts. You had weird rules being tried to figure out. You had bat flips. You had
Errors.
You had plenty of errors. You had 3 bench clearing kerfuffles at home plate.
3 bench clearing conversations face to face between grown men.
Because that's what they do in baseball.
What
They
is
don't
it
actually
about?
throw
What is
punches.
it about baseball fights that they don't actually
Because
get into?
baseball players are soft.
I've seen them throw, but
Well, yeah,
usually it's just like
they do because what was the guy for the Pirates against the Cubs? The dude with the pirate looking hair, Sean Rodriguez, he got tossed because he threw a punch in that game.
Did he connect?
He didn't connect.
See?
He was trying to throw a punch at Arrieta.
Can they connect?
And he didn't connect, but they went back and because they were looking at it, he got tossed.
A baseball player won't bust a warm grape.
I don't know. That's still the craziest game I've ever seen.
That was-
I mean,
that-
not ever seen, but
That was fun.
I said
there was all the emotion, and then when
and I was excited, and I really could care less about the American League.
that was one of the best bat flips I've ever
Oh.
seen. Just he wasn't looking at him, and he just tossed it.
He chucked it.
He
man.
wasn't
It was
looking at the
"Urgh."
Rangers bench, and he just threw it right at him because he knew
Because it was so disrespectful.
it was.
Like
God, it
he
was
paused
great.
for
Like
a
the
good
only
5
way it
count
could
and
have been
then threw it.
The only way it could have been more disrespectful is if he like pulled his pants down and like mooned him and went Randy Moss right in front of him there.
God.
We didn't even see where the bat landed. Did it actually hit the dugout? It could have been close because he tossed it.
No, it wasn't that far. I don't even think it didn't even get to the on deck circle. It was like
Yeah.
just on the other side of the
It
batter's
looked
box.
like he chucked it really far, but
Oh, but he didn't.
Whoever's up next picked it up right away. I mean, it wasn't.
It was
like,
Encarnacion.
Encarnacion, yeah, he picked it up. and
well,
just
yeah,
walked it
no,
back.
I think it was it was the guy who crossed the plate first, the guy who was on third from the home run.
Oh, it
I
was
think
Goins.
Yeah,
There you go.
He picked it up.
Yeah. I got one more real quick because it's kind of good.
Okay,
But I want to hear JP's thoughts on this. I don't know if you heard the story.
Tom.
A wide receiver at BYU says life in Utah is hard, but not as hard as what Tupac went through.
We're going to move on to the next topic. First and foremost,
This is the Jim McMahon situation, right?
first and foremost, this guy signed a chastity belt pact when he started going to BYU. What does he know about Tupac? Can he spell Tupac? What Tupac songs does he know? How does he know what life Tupac? If he goes to BYU,
Are you questioning the color of his skin?
that too. I'm questioning the functionality of his brain. Are we going to? This is a podcast. We can't even see his face. He's not a part of this team.
He's from Fontana, if that answers any questions for you.
Oh, wow. He just set us back 500 years. Maybe he was on the same ooh-wee that the young man who went to the wrong game was on, and he knows him. And that's why he said that outlandish statement.
It's too bad he didn't think he was at like a Baylor BYU game. That would have made this. We would have just figured it all out right here, guys. You're solving crimes right here on the Bullpen podcast.
Hey, got to take the scholarship where you can get it, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
How could he fix his lips and say something like that?
500 years.
Easily a good 500 years. He just set us back as a people.
Well, I don't know.
Don't trip. We shall overcome.
Kid was born in 96. I mean, I'm surprised he even knows who Tupac is.
Yeah.
He's living through YouTube.
Yeah.
Doesn't count.
He probably saw him in concert that one time he was a hologram.
It's probably the first time he saw him.
Yeah.
Back to you, Dan.
Oh man, thanks, Tom. All right, let's
Get it together, Dan.
Sorry, let's go ahead and move on to our one-line game previews for this upcoming weekend. One line to describe a big matchup in college and NFL.
Can I just pat myself on the back real quick?
You won.
Yeah.
Because I went 3 for 4 last week in the previews with some pretty bold predictions. I didn't think that Orlovsky thing, that was a joke.
That was hysterical.
That was pretty great.
That was a total joke, and that happened. I just wanted to.
Well done,
throw
Brobes.
throw that out.
Well done.
I'm now gonna go 0 for 3 today. Just
All right,
for
let's
funsies.
let's start in college. Evan, we've got number 9 Alabama taking on number 10 Texas A&M. Bama favored by 4 here.
Sumlin stomps Saban. A&M wins.
Outright.
Do you think the guy who got arrested is gonna be there?
I hope
And
so.
then he's gonna think he's at the LSU game.
All right, number 7 Michigan State. Number 12 Michigan. Michigan favored by a touchdown and a half point.
Pleats, please. Sparty wins big.
Ooh.
I just came up with that, too.
Alliteration. Alliteration.
That's impressive.
That's what he does here. Number 8 Florida. Number 6 LSU. It opened at 6.5, but now 9.5 is the line for LSU favored there.
Silverback Gorilla runs wild.
Bam.
Going by JP last week, right here on this very
Silverback
show.
Gorilla.
Leonard Fournette goes off. Tigers win.
All right.
All you had to do was add chest beat.
If you couldn't hear that, he was,
That was
literally
great.
beating his chest.
All right, moving on to the NFL. Brandon, you got these. Browns, Broncos. Broncos favored by 4.
Pressure too much for Peyton.
Calling the Browns upset?
Now, that doesn't necessarily right. Yes, I am. I am. But
Feldhouse.
not necessarily pressure on Peyton, but I think the pressure of him needing to perform at a higher level. He's thrown 4 interceptions the last 2 games, and that run game isn't getting any better. I think the pressure might get to him a little bit, and he still might make some mistakes. But the Browns' defense at home, this is one of those games where everybody's picking the Broncos to just
Sure.
dominate them, and this is where like the Browns just come back and eke out like a 14-13 win. No DeMarcus
In
Ware for
Denver?
the Broncos. No, it's in Cleveland.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Next
No,
up,
if it was in Denver,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't. Yeah.
next up, Colts, Patriots. This is Sunday Night Football. Patriots favored by a touchdown.
Roland Blunts.
Hey.
Ooh.
2 TDs for LeGarrette in this one.
Going strong.
Patriots win by 20.
Chifa da
Yeah,
Mota.
Patriots win by
yeah,
20.
Yeah. Even though they're only favored by 7.
Final. Steelers, Cardinals. Arizona favored by a field goal.
Arians gets last laugh.
Bruce.
Former
Yeah.
Steelers offensive coordinator looked over for that job when they gave it to Tomlin, and that Cardinals team is playing really well. Which they are playing well. They're 4-1. They deserve all the credit in the world. But I look at their schedule, and it just like they. I don't want to crown them yet and they have some easy games coming up too. We'll know more about this team come late November if they're for real.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable betting against Omar Epps
I don't. I really don't. But
and the Mike Vick experience?
that's what scares me. I feel fully comfortable picking against the Mike Vick experience.
Which one's Epps? I'm sitting here trying to figure out.
Mike Tomlin.
Looks like Omar Epps.
All right.
Really? Mike Tomlin, Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
And you
Gotcha.
think
You've never seen Mike Tomlin, Omar Epps in the same place at the same
I
time.
was totally overthinking
Rick Ross.
that.
Rick Ross?
All right. First and foremost, we are all fans here, so we'd like to make our final score predictions for the weekend. Last weekend, looks like Evan and Brandon were the only ones to correctly guess their score with their victory. Arizona State's victory over Colorado, that is. Brandon called the covering of the point spread, so we'll give him the week last week. Let's move on to this week. JP, we'll start with you. USC Notre Dame this weekend, 6.5-point favorites.
Let the Helton regime begin. Well, until the end of the season. Pretty sure USC wins this game just because.
Final score?
Trojans 31, Notre Dame 27.
Winning outright. Brandon, Evan, Arizona State, Utah. Brandon, we'll start with you. Favored by a touchdown.
I'm going to go with the push and go 24-17 Utah. That defense, you saw what they did against Jared Goff last week. They are really good. If ASU has a chance to win this game, they need to run the football excessively because that Utah secondary is looking for it every chance they get.
Ep?
I'll also go push. I'll go 20-13 Utes.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Such a copycat.
Reverse jinx.
Yeah, I was also going for the reverse.
Well played.
jinx.
I'm going to take that same card. San Jose State, San Diego State. San Jose State actually favored in this game by 2.5. I'm going to say this game's going to go very similar to the UNLV game, and it'll be an overtime game, and I think San Diego State wins with a field goal in overtime.
It's got to be the worst.
We'll go
fan
30
in
to
the
27.
history.
30
Well,
to 27.
Last
worst
week,
fan ever.
you were on track to nail the score prediction.
Yeah, I had it
for
right.
San Jose State, UNLV.
30-27. It's actually the same score predicted last week, so I'm going to go with that again. 30-27.
Just keep rolling with what you
NFL
got.
action, Brandon. Chiefs, Vikings. Vikings 4-point favorites, although people are picking them, which is scary.
Scares the crap out of me because everybody was picking them against the Niners too, and we saw how that one worked out.
Yep.
But I think I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. They're at home, which is different than the Niners game. Vikings 20-13.
All right, Ravens, Niners this weekend. Evan, we'll start with you. Ravens 2.5-point favorites at Levi's.
I'm going real close to the points averages. I'm going Baltimore 24, San Francisco 17.
I don't know why. I feel like this is a game the Niners will win for some stupid reason. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Niners to win by a late field goal, a Phil Dawson field goal. Let's say 20-17.
I like it.
All right.
I like it.
JP, Washington at New York. JP, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely going to lose. I'm pretty sure Kirkland will throw 2 to Revis Island for no reason straight to him. The Jets will probably cover.
The 6 points.
Yeah, they'll cover. It's a sad time to be a Redskin fan.
All right, the picks are in. We'll check those back next week. I think that's going to do it for this edition of the Bullpen.
Yeah, I need
Gentlemen,
another beer.
well done today. And we'll see you back here next week.
Fellas out there, remember, shoot your shot.